Well, a few more people can try and find a seat, but it's going to have to happen quickly. So, welcome, one and all, to Maison de la Chimie. On this Olympic year, the Parimat Days are delivering great performance. Once again, we're expecting to break records in terms of turnout. For the 15th edition, we're expecting, imagine that, 900 participants. It's an absolute record. And by the way, well, we'll give thanks at the end, of course, but for everything that's been done to get there, I wanted to thank more specifically the entire CESAM team for the quality of the event organization, as well as the members of the organization board for their exceptional contribution. About CESAM, well, I would say that CESAM is still moving forward. It is once again at the core of the transport market ecosystem to address customers and clients' needs effectively, needs in terms of productivity gains via flow exchanges with Optiflu, technical evaluations with a global network of assessors, needs in terms of claims management with major events, and of course, growing expectations in terms of training. As you know, CESAM has already adopted a new logo, and this year we're talking about a new website, and Pascal Dubois will give you a quick presentation tomorrow. It will be quick, I'll reassure you, but it will be an exclusive, so you should be happy. The shipping insurance world is faced with the mega trends we've been identifying, especially the impacts of gigantism. We need to address major events involving very large ships, and that assumes a more complex and more costly response to that, especially the contributions from common average. The contribution rates are now particularly high. The collision of the Dali container ship that led to the bridge collapse in Baltimore in March, of course, everybody's aware of that. It is another very good illustration. The vessel could only be brought back to the surface after 2 months of complex efforts to remove all ship debris that had fallen on the vessel and around the vessel that kept it from moving and fully blocking the harbor. And the vessel, as we speak, is still blocked for additional investigations by the FBI. So we know that it's a similar situation to the Ever Given, not the same conditions, but after it ran aground, the ship was blocked by Egyptian authorities for additional investigations. Subject to assessments of liability in the incident, that remains to be determined, but we know that potentially this event will be the biggest, might potentially be the biggest since the Costa Concordia shipwreck, and as it stands, this Dali event is the biggest maritime event in the history of maritime shipping. This afternoon, the head of BEA Mer will share with us his views on changes of events at sea. So that's very convenient. Geopolitical instability is also a constant concern for us. The war in Ukraine is unfortunately still ongoing. The wave of attacks by the Houthis in the Red Sea started on 19 November. And since then, we've been facing almost weekly attacks. The first event caused by Houthis resulted in a hostage situation on the Galaxy Leader car carrier with its 27 crew members. We had the first total loss in March 2024 with the Rubima vessel that sank after being hit by 2 missiles and being abandoned by its crew. A few days later, it was the first attack that led to casualties, 3 losses of life on True Confidence, and a few days ago, about a week, 10 days ago, 3 new attacks, one of which caused the loss of a crew member again. So the Parimat days had to address these geopolitical risks, and a panel discussion will be devoted to that tomorrow morning. During these days, we'll also be talking about the issue of inflation impacting our area of business via the overview of an economist, followed by a more technical approach by a CESAM claims surveyor. The economy's electrification is also a concern for the transport sector. So, of course, we know that the transport of electric vehicles and lithium batteries is on the agenda. We'll talk about risks and solutions. This year, we'll also focus on the transport of artworks. And where, meanwhile, aviation has seen its traffic recover to a level equivalent to pre-COVID days. And you could even say that the level is a bit higher in some areas of the world, like Asia and the Middle East. Against this backdrop, more specifically, we can see strong demand for next-generation aircraft that are more fuel efficient and, of course, more virtuous in CO2 terms. That will be discussed during the discussion talking about the issues at stake with fleet renewal, including maritime renewals, in the latter part of the afternoon. We'll also talk about special business tomorrow morning, talking about, well, space. We're talking about space weather and solar storms. I'm really looking forward to that. I know nothing about that, so I'll learn a lot. And naturally, this year, we are talking about environmental aspects with the Poseidon principles. And there too, you'll see, maybe for the first time, this afternoon, you'll see the concrete implications. We already talked about the Poseidon principles in a previous edition, but this time we'll really talk about concrete examples, what the impact is, especially in insurance companies. Artificial intelligence is more and more a regular guest in our discussions, internal discussions, and with clients. So tomorrow afternoon, there will be a discussion about artificial intelligence, data, and new technologies at the service of marine and transport insurance. And don't miss the Student Award, as usual, that will be given this morning. And I really wanted to thank all jury members who are also great professionals of our business, giving this award. I will try not to take too long, and I am now calling this 15th edition of the Parimat Days to order.